Welcome to TreeSource. Our video series that we're about to embark on is one that teaches you how to do a nursery yourself. You don't need a multi-million-dollar facility like is surrounding me here at TreeSource to be able to grow your own citrus trees. All you need is a citrus liner from us, which is a budded tree that starts with a rootstock and has a scion that's been budded onto it, and the information from where the mother tree came from, which is on our registration tag. And in about a year, planted in a pot and grown under good conditions, you should be able to make a tree that looks something like this, with a fully rooted root system at the bottom of it and ready to plant in your orchard. The key is starting with the citrus liner, where we do the hard job of actually budding the tree and getting it ready for you. And so how to take care of a tree, how to water it, how to put the soil in it, all those different features will be part of this video to be able to guide you through the process of being able to do your own nursery tree.
When selecting a plant site or nursery site, there are a couple of things you should consider. One, you want to select an area that is flat, where the water could drain away from the plants. Two, we want an area where you have available water to irrigate the plants once they're planted. And also, we recommend using a weed mat or gravel on the bottom to prevent the weeds from growing. We will also recommend using a 6-inch pot that the trees will be grown. It's an ideal container. A greenhouse is not required. A simple structure can be used to grow the trees. When filling containers, it's important to remember a couple of things. One, you want to make sure that when you fill the containers, you want to add the soil to the container. You want to make sure that we get the soil about 1 inch below the top of the container, just in case you need to do hand watering. That way there's water in the container so it doesn't run off. The second thing you want to make sure is that there's no air pockets, so you can just tamp it a little bit to make sure that you reduce the air pockets in the pot. And then you just want to fill all of them in the bed as uniform as you can. Once the containers are filled, we want to make sure that the soil level is about 1 inch below the top of the container. Get rid of all the air pockets, and then you're ready to water the soil before you start planting. This is how you're going to receive our plants from the nursery. They're going to come in a box. They're covered with plastic. You open the box, and there are different liners in here, CLs, what we call CLs. There's a bundles of 10 plants in here, trees that'll be ready for planting. You want to make sure that when you take them out of the box, to eliminate any cross-contamination for any pathogens. Just want to make sure that you have a clean area. This is a simple tool that we use for planting. It's a dibbler. It's just a shovel handle with a cone at the end that we use for planting. We could provide the cone. This just gives us a guideline or the depth of for the planting. Once the containers are watered in, we're ready for planting. We use the dibbler. We'll push the dibbler inside. We want to make sure that we use the cone as a guideline to make the hole so we don't make it too deep. And this is typical a two-man job. One person does the holes, does the holes. The second person does the planting, as you can see here. Once we plant to make sure that the liner is not too deep, and then you press the soil around the base. And then the other person continues to do the holes, and then he continues to plant. So he does the hole, and then the other person does the planting. You want to make sure that the trees are not planted too deep, and then we compress the soil around the base. Once the trees are planted in the container, it's very important that they get water immediately after planting, especially in the summertime when it gets really hot. Irrigation is the most important part of growing a citrus tree. There's two ways you can irrigate. One is with a drip system like the one you see here, which is a half-inch hose with what we call a quarter-inch tubing and a meter, half a gallon meter with a stake. Okay, you want to place it right next to the plant, and this produces about half a gallon per hour. The drip system is the most efficient way to water the plants but it's also the most expensive because it requires good filtration to prevent the emitters from clogging. You can also do it by hand using a hose with a water breaker to irrigate your plants.
In addition to choosing the right pot and the right soil and having the right irrigation system on a young citrus nursery, you need to have the right fertility program. We recommend using slow-release fertilizer. Some of the typical balanced analysis of the macronutrients would be a 18-6-8 or a 19-6-12. The two of the products that we have shown here are NutriCoat and Osmocoat. These are 3 to 4 months slow release, so you just put them into the pot and they release the nutrients every time the water gets on the trees, and the trees have a constant access to fertility. And it's a really fairly simple way to make sure that the trees have good nutrition. One of the ways you apply these materials is we have just a small bucket here with a little application device. And this particular one is showing the NutriCoat pot product, which was about 6 grams per pot. And so all this is a little piece of PVC pipe with a water cap drilled on the top, and so they can pre-measure every single one that goes into the tree. The liquid feed formula can be done by different ways. This particular product is a soluble fertilizer that can go into this 5-gallon bucket with water, goes into solution, and they're using a product called a dosatron to do the injection. With liquid feed types of fertility, you always need to have some kind of an injection system, and they're not very inexpensive. You know, this could run you up to $1,000 for this particular item. But the liquid feed is sucked into this area at a predetermined amount and is fed into the trees. One of the difficulties with this system is that you have to monitor the EC levels and make sure that you don't over-apply the fertilizer. And it's a little more complicated, so it's not necessarily one that we recommend. Now, besides the root-based fertilizers, which is the slow release and the liquid feed systems, we also recommend, and you really are required to do, a foliar sprays. Now, foliar sprays can be done multiple ways. Anybody who grows orange trees knows that they have to do foliar nutrition. And so we recommend you just talk to your local PCA to try to find out what program would be best for you. But a couple products that we like are this particular product, which is ZMC Express, made by Miller Chemical. It has multiple micronutrients in it. It's a powdered product, so it has good shelf life, and you can blend it into a pesticide sprayer or just do it as a separate foliar spray. In addition, we have some products by Actigrow here that are liquid foliar sprays, and these go well with any of the types of pesticide treatments or other types of treatments you'd want to do. Again, talk to your pest control advisor to be able to get the right combinations, but a fertility program that is both a foliar spray program and a slow release or a liquid feed program through the root system is very important to have successful, healthy citrus trees. Citrus pest control is kind of a complicated topic, so instead of going through the details of everything you need to know about citrus pest control, we thought we'd just point you to a couple resources. The number one resource that you should use is your own pest control advisor. Any citrus farmer would probably have a good pest control advisor that can keep their citrus nursery clean of pests with the proper pesticide applications. The two insects that are the most important for citrus nurturing is citrus thrips and citrus leaf miner. Mites can be also a problem, but if you just keep after them and pay attention to them, it shouldn't be a big problem. If you want more information on those things, you can go to the University of California and you can buy the Citrus IPM handbook that I have in my hand. It's available on the web, so just search the University of California Citrus IPM manual and be able to purchase one. And it goes into full detail on pests, diseases, nutrition, a whole bunch of other stuff that would be very valuable to have on your bookshelf.
After a couple weeks, after planting, you often will see suckers coming out of the rootstock, of the seedlings. You want to remove the suckers. You want to make sure they don't get too long. One of the things you want to make sure is that you don't remove the variety or the scion. So you want to make sure you identify that, you know where that's located, and then you can remove them either by hand or you can use clippers to remove them close to the base of the plant. After the trees are planting, after the new flush, we got to stake the trees. We recommend using a half-inch stake, bamboo stake, to do the staking for the plants. We want to place the stake very close to the trunk, the base of the plant. Insert the stake all the way down. Once you put the stake, we're going to start using the machine to tighten the tree down, as you can see here. Another option is to do hand tying, and you can use this type budding tape. Cut it piece, and you want to tie it by hand.
One important thing that you need to do to protect a do-it-yourself citrus nursery is to have a plan for frost protection. Frost fabric is a polyester liner that is a very thin product. You can even see my hand through the product. And it breathes, so you can cover your trees during the winter months and the trees will be protected from freeze. You need to have some source of heat inside there, which we recommend to be just like a micro sprinkler that is run about every 10 or 15 feet apart down through the section of trees. And simply what you have to do, you just cover the trees with the fabric, bring it down to the ground level, and then weight the fabric down with something like a sandbag. In this case, I have a sandbag. So frost fabric is a really good way to protect your trees from frost, especially if you have sprinklers inside it that would be turned on during a major freeze event. Your finished do-it-yourself nursery tree is dependent upon what you decide finished is, but our recommendation is that you have a caliper that's at least a 1/2 inch to 5/8 diameter. But what's really important is that the root system is fully rooted. Here's an example of a tree that has been in this pot for well over a year, and it shows the root system that's fully rooted. You can tell that the roots go all the way down to the bottom of the pot, and this is really important. The tree caliper is dependent upon how good the root system is, so that's real important. You don't have to have a tree as big as this one that's in my hand. It can be as small as the one here to the left of me, but either one would be considered a finished tree. So that's it. That's how you do your own nursery. You have to have a flat place, pots, soil, fertilizer, water, pest control, and a good eye for watching those trees grow, and you should be able to make your own orange tree. If you have any questions, contact us at TreeSource. Our phone number is 559-592-2304, or you can go back to us on the web and email us at our website at www.citrustreesource.com. Thanks for watching, and we hope you learned something.